All right, we got Peter. Well, that's a wild name. I think that's Peter. I've never seen it spelt that way, but that makes the most sense. I don't think it's Piotr. Peter says, hola, what steel titanium seed backup can you recommend? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, you got a couple options. There's some simple ones. There's some more difficult ones. And there is, let me find it for you. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up here for you. So if you are going to be putting it on steel, the one thing I'd say here before we go any further is that for those who are just kind of getting into Bitcoin, or just fairly new to Bitcoin, kind of the progression here that I see for people is like when you get your first wallet, you got to write down your 12 keys. That's fine. Just make sure you put it in a very safe place. And actually, I was helping a guy yesterday set up a cold card. And I mean, I love the cold card. I love absolutely everything about it. I use it myself for the majority of my Bitcoin. But there are some things that I don't love about the cold card. And one of those things is the little wee piece of paper that they send with it for people to write their private key on. And the reason I don't love that is because I just find it's easy to get lost. Like you get this very encrypted device, very secure, a little bit too much for some people, but it's where you want to be. And then you just write your private key on this little wee piece of paper, and then you probably just leave it around somewhere. I've seen several of these lost, and it has your PIN code and your private key on it. I think they need to change that, and maybe I'll mention that somehow to Odell or to NVK, because I do think that that's a problem. So anyways, where I was going with that is I think that when you start, you should get like a nice piece of paper, whether it's cardboard or like a thick, this is thicker. It's not like just a normal flimsy piece of paper that would be around your office. Put it on something that's somewhat thicker, meaningful, that you're not going to throw it in the trash or lose track of. So that's where you start. Then you go to a steel plate or titanium in this case that we're going to be talking about here. I think the titanium is supposed to be better in a certain degree of fire. So titanium is probably preferred there, but steel is good too. So steel or titanium. And then from there, after a while, once you get a little bit familiar with everything within Bitcoin, how to use the technology, how to use the devices, how it all works, then I think you should be looking to encrypt your backup. So that's how I'll preface this, is that you kind of go gradual. You start with something that's thicker paper, meaningful. Maybe you laminate it, maybe not, but you keep it in a very secure location. You never keep your private key anywhere near a camera, ever. You never say it out loud. You never put it on anything connected to the internet. You keep it on paper. And then you go to steel, titanium, which I think is a very good option. It's going to hold out through fire, through water, through anything like that. And then eventually, once you get to a certain point and your Bitcoin stack is high enough, then you look to, then you look to encrypt it. And you should always be thinking about evolving here. This isn't something that you just do and then you forget about, and then you just hope that in 5 years you're going to come back and be able to restore your Bitcoin. This is something you should be practicing, rehearsing, and it's always evolving. It evolves with you. It evolves with your knowledge, and it evolves with your size of your Bitcoin stack and the value of it. So again, don't think that you're just going to do this once and you're going to forget about it and then come back in 5 or 10 years and your family's going to know what to do and you're going to know what to do. That's not how it works. This is it's a lot of responsibility. It's worth it, but you got to be on top of this stuff. So that's where I'd preface this. But with in terms of steel plate, this is what I would recommend here. So this is a bundle. This includes a jade as well, and it includes a stamp seed, titanium for your words. It's got all the letters there, a little guide, the anvil, and the nice hammer there. So this all comes together in the package with the jade. So if you need a decoy wallet, if you already have one, then this is probably a good idea for you. $425, and you can use the code 88sats. That gets you 15% off of that. So pretty good deal, especially if you're like in the US and your dollar's a lot better than the Canadian one. This is a steal for you. So that's one option. But then, I mean, if you don't need the if you don't need the jade with there, if you already have a couple hardware wallets or you have a decoy and a regular one, then you can just buy the stamp seed itself from the website here. Oh, it's loading here. So not just the bundles here that I would promote, but everything on the QuickBit's website here you can check out, including steel plates and titanium. So that one's called the stamp seed. So that's a good question. And speaking of QuickBit, Dale's in the chat this morning. Good morning. Happy Sweet 16, Bitcoin.